Thank you for joining me for yoga with Sean D. This core strength vinyasa flow is meant to get your heart pumping, your blood flowing, and your core working. According to a 2007 Yoga Journal article by Rachel Bransky, learning to incorporate a strong focus on core can help free you from common injuries and will cultivate intelligence and strength beyond the yoga mat. The core, says Anyasara teacher Desiree Rumba, is what supports us spiritually in our lives and physically in our yoga practice. If our core is weak, the ups and downs of life are much harder to take. A strong core makes us more resilient. If we're weak in the core, our digestive fire is weak, which then can bring a chronic exhaustion because we're not absorbing nutrients, and which pollutes the bloodstream and can muddy the mind, leading to unclear thinking and gloomy moods, adds Anna Forrest, founder of the Forrest Yoga Institute. Core work, on the other hand, quickens the blood and gets oxygen moving throughout the body. And she adds, core work connects us to our feelings. Working with the core turns on our innate intelligence and gets us feeling more accurately. If we don't know how to get centered in our core, we're basically doormats for whoever is a stronger personality. We become susceptible to anyone who wants to push us off balance. Tap into your innate intelligence as you decide how deeply to move into more challenging poses in ways that avoid injury. And continue to attune yourself to that wisdom when you step off of your mat and into the world. Lying down on your back, bring the soles of your feet together and drop your knees wide. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Soften your face. Close your eyes. Feel your chest rise and fall as you inhale and exhale through your nose. Feel your belly expand and soften. Connect to your innate wisdom. Focus on moving from your center. Breathe in. Breathe out. Draw a breath in through your nose. Open up your mouth and sigh it out through your mouth. Begin to cultivate an ujjayi breath, gently constricting the back of your throat as you inhale and as you exhale, heating up as you move your breath from the inside out. Please feel free to follow along on the Spotify playlist that I've included a link for in the description of this video. When you're ready, bring your hands to the outsides of your knees and draw your knees together. Hug your knees into your chest and wrap your arms around your shins, flexing and pointing your feet, awakening your upper back and your neck as you roll your nose to your knees. Full body stretch. Reach your arms up overhead, stretch your legs long, and continue to move fingertips and toes, wrists, ankles. Inhale here, and on an exhale, hug your knees back into your chest. Press your knees away from you so your knees stack right over your hips. Feel your low belly engage, and then cross your right leg over the top of your left. Coming into eagle legs, maybe even wrapping your right shin all the way behind your left calf. Stretch your arms out to the side, and then wrap your left arm over the top of your right, coming into eagle arms. Lift your elbows as far away from your chest as you can, bending into your elbows, pressing your arms and hands together and spreading your fingers wide. Squeeze your legs together, draw belly button to spine, and on an inhale, drop your toes down, reach arms up overhead. Exhaling and drawing knees to elbows, rounding shoulders, head, and neck away from the earth. Repeat this 5 times, moving with your breath. Inhale, tap your toes, lift your elbows out of your chest. Exhale and curl knees to elbow. After your final round, release your arms back open into a T and reach your legs open into a V. Flex your feet and reach through your heels to opposite sides of the room. When you're ready, repeat on the other side, wrapping your left leg over the top of your right for eagle legs. Bend your knees and squeeze your legs together, and then wrap right arm over the top of your left. On an inhale, tap your toes, lift elbows out of your chest. Exhale and roll head, neck, and shoulders up away from the earth, curling knees to elbows. Repeat this 5 times with your breath. Inhaling, lengthening, exhaling, and curling back to center. Always keeping a focus right at your center, drawing your belly button to your spine, engaging Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale and unwrap your arms open into a T, stretch your legs open into a V. And then wrap your hands around the back of your head and curl your elbows up towards the ceiling. For 10 rounds, curl just head, neck, and shoulders up away from the earth, reaching your elbows in between the V of your leg. Inhale to lengthen and roll your head, neck, and shoulders back down to the earth. Exhale and curl head, neck, and shoulders up away from the earth, reaching elbows in between the V of your legs as you draw belly button to your spine. After 10 rounds, hold here. Reach your arms long and pulse for 10 counts. Keeping shoulders, head, neck, and lifted, reaching through your fingertips. After you finish 10 rounds, bring your hands to the outsides of your legs and draw your legs, bend your knees, put your knees back into your chest. Bring your hands behind the backs of your thighs and rock and roll yourself up and back a few times, massaging the muscles around your spine as you rock and as you roll. Eventually finding seated. Balance on your sits bones. Lift your shins, maybe stretching legs all the way long. Inhale and exhale. Lengthening, hovering head, neck, and shoulders, feet away from the earth. Exhaling and lifting back up. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and lift. Half boat, full boat for 5 rounds. When you're finished, cross your ankles and roll through to your tabletop. Big toes together, knees wide. Stretch your arms long, hips to heels, child's pose. Allow your belly to soften as you breathe in and settle on your exhale. Set your intention for your practice, to stay mindful of that wisdom that already resides within you, to do what you need to do in your practice today. When you're ready, rise back up onto your tabletop and begin to move through cat-cow pose, rounding your spine on an exhale, dropping your belly low for cow pose on an inhale. Exhale and round your spine. Inhale and drop your belly low, chin and tail lift to the sky. Belly button to your spine as you exhale. Curve your spine, lengthening on an inhale. Repeat like this for a few more rounds. And then find your way back to a neutral spine. Shoulders over your wrists. Stretch your right foot back behind you and dig your right toes into your mat. Find your core engagement, draw belly button to your spine, and then when you're ready, float your right toes up away from the floor. Float your left arm forward and find balance. Stay in your balance or begin to move here. Inhaling, and then on your exhale, draw your knee to your elbow. Inhale and lengthen knee to elbow for 5 rounds. Lengthening with every inhale. Find balance when you come back to your neutral spine. Staying here or bending your right knee. Reaching your left hand around for your right foot. Kicking your foot into your hand as you reach your heart forward and making your spine long as you stretch into your shoulder and your front body. When you're ready, float your right knee back down to the earth. Rock your hips to your heels and stretch your arms out in front of you for child's pose. Lift your palms up away from the earth, tenting up onto your finger pads to allow your hands and your wrists to stretch. And then when you're ready, lift back up to your tabletop. Stretch your left foot back behind you, digging your left toes into your mat. And then when you find your core stability, belly button to your spine, float your left toes up away from the floor and float your right arm forward. Stay here and find balance, or inhale, and on your exhale, draw your knee into your elbow. For 5 rounds, finding length with your inhale, rounding your spine just like cat pose with your exhale. Move with your breath. And on your final round, hold long, staying here for balance or bending your left knee. Reaching your right hand around for the outside edge of your left foot and kicking the pinky edge side of your foot into your hand. Find balance as you find a stretch in your hips, your core, and your shoulders. When you're ready to release, float your left knee back down to the earth. Float your right hand back down to the earth. And take your hips to your heels for child's pose. Press down into your finger pads and lift the palms of your hands away from your mat to stretch into your hands and your wrists. When you're ready, rock back up to your tabletop. Tuck your toes under and lift your hips high for downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Wiggle yourself around for the first few breaths, finding space. And then soften your knees. Ground into your right hand and stretch your left hand for the outside of your right foot, twisting, maybe even gazing over your right shoulder. Inhale, and then on an exhale, come back to downward facing dog. Rock forward into your plank pose, finding that core stability as you draw belly button to your spine and energize your legs in towards each other. Moving plank pose, drop down onto your right forearm, left forearm, and then come back up to your right hand, left hand. Switch sides, coming down onto your left forearm, your right forearm, and then back up to your left hand and your right hand. Repeat that 3 times on each side. And then from your forearm plank pose, lower all the way down to your belly. Point your toes back behind you. Roll your shoulders down and back away from your ears for Sphinx pose. Allow your shoulders and your front body to stretch. Energize your elbows back towards your heels and reach your heart forward. Inhale, and on an exhale, lower down onto your belly and press back to downward facing dog. When you're ready here, repeat the twist on this side. Reach your right hand for the outside edge of your left ankle. Rounding into your left hand, maybe gazing over your left shoulder. Inhale, and on an exhale, return back to downward facing dog. Rock forward into your plank pose again here and find your moving plank. Beginning this time with your left forearm down, right forearm down, and then planting your left hand in your right hand. And then with the right forearm down, left forearm down, right hand, left hand. Repeat 3 times on each side. Trying to keep your core and your torso as still as you're able to. Finally, finding your way to your forearm plank, lowering down to your belly, pointing your toes back behind you, and finding Sphinx pose for the second time. Roll your shoulders back away from your ears as you reach your heart forward. Inhale, and on an exhale, release to your belly. Press back to downward facing dog. Roll up onto your toes on an inhale, and as you exhale, look forward and walk to the top of your mat until you're in a forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale and lengthen your spine, looking forward. Exhale and deepen your fold. Repeat that 2 more times, looking forward as you inhale, flattening your back and straightening your legs as much as you can, and then folding forward on your exhale. After your third exhale, stay in your forward fold for a few more breaths. Softening your knees as much as you need to, maybe grabbing opposite elbows to help lengthen your spine. Breathe in and let it out. When you're ready, release your arms and slowly roll vertebrae by vertebrae all the way up to standing. On an inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale and draw your palms together at heart center. Sit down into your chair pose here. Preparing for eagle, just like we did on our backs, shift your weight into your right foot and wrap your left leg over the top of your right. Stretch your arms out to the side into a T, thumbs up, and then wrap right arm over the top of your left. Squeezing arms together, inhale here. On your exhale, round until elbows drop down to your knees. Repeat just 3 times like that, keeping your balance, keeping your core stability by drawing belly button to your spine. After your third round, lift your elbows from your knees and come into Warrior 3. Arms stay in eagle arms, lifting your elbows away from your chest as much as you can as you lift the back of your left leg towards the sky. Inhale. On an exhale, soften your knees and step back into Warrior 1. Back heel spins to the earth. Bend into your right knee. Lift your elbows away from your chest as you stretch your arms to the sky. Inhale, look up. Exhale, hands to your hips. Draw your shoulders down your back. Squeeze your elbows towards each other or clasp your hands. Again, roll your shoulders back as you lift your heart and your gaze towards the sky on your inhale. Fold to the inside of your right leg on your exhale. Just like in Warrior 1, continue to roll your right hip back as you roll your left hip forward, squaring your hips towards the front of your mat. Let go of your head and let your neck be soft. When you're ready to release, bend your elbows, plant your hands to the earth, lift your back heel away from the floor, and stretch your right leg back behind you into 3-legged downward facing dog. Bend your right knee and stack your right hip on top of your left. And then play with a little balance here. Come up onto your left finger pads like we did in child's pose earlier and start to slide your left hand towards your left heel. Maybe you lift your left hand up away from the floor. Maybe you reach your left hand for your right foot, holding for several breaths, or not. When you're ready, roll forward into your plank pose on your inhale, Chaturanga on your exhale. Cobra or upward facing dog on your inhale, downward facing dog on your exhale. Inhale, and at the end of your exhale, look forward and move to the top of your mat. Flatten your back on your inhale, fold on your exhale. Rise all the way up to standing on your inhale. Stretch your arms to the sky and look up. Palms together, hands at heart center, and then sit back into your chair pose. Lift your heart to your thumbs, shift your weight to your left foot, and wrap your right leg over the top of your left for eagle pose. Stretch your arms out into a T, thumbs up towards the sky, and then wrap your left arm over the top of your right arm. Lift your elbows on an inhale. And on an exhale, round your spine as you drop your elbows to your knees. Repeating 3 times, moving with your breath, and keeping your focus right at your center, at your core. After your 3rd exhale, inhale and lift your elbows. Keeping your arms where they are, shift into Warrior 3, stretching your right leg back behind you as you continue to reach your elbows out of your chest. Lift the back of your right leg up towards the sky as you reach your heart forward, lengthening your spine. Inhale, and on an exhale, soften your knees and step back into Warrior 1. Back heel spins to the earth. Sink into your left leg as you lift your elbows up away from your chest, turning your gaze and your heart up towards the sky. Inhale and stretch your arms up. Exhale, hands to your hips. Squeeze your elbows towards each other. And then maybe you clasp your hands, stretching arms back, lifting your gaze, lifting your heart. Inhale, and on an exhale, shift forward into a bow, humble warrior. Continue to stretch your arms back behind you as much as you can, or feel free to bring your hands back to your hips here. When you're ready to release, bend your elbows, bring your hands back to the earth. Spin your back heel up away from the floor and stretch your left leg back behind you, 3-legged dog. Bend your left knee and stack your left hip on top of your right. Lift the palm of your right hand up away from the floor, this time sliding the finger pads of your right hand back towards your right heel. Maybe floating your right hand away from the floor, even reaching right hand for left foot. When you're ready to release, rock forward into your plank pose on an inhale. Lower down on your exhale. Feel your heart up away from the floor on your inhale. Look forward, downward facing dog on your exhale. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, move to the top of your mat. From your forward fold, slowly roll all the way up to standing, vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhaling to stretch your arms up overhead, and on your exhale, bring your palms together at heart center. Sit back into your chair pose, stretching your arms up overhead and then drawing palms back together at heart center. Inhale, and on your exhale, reach your left elbow to your right thigh, and then inhale back to chair pose. Exhale and twist. Inhale back to chair pose. One more time. Exhale and twist and pause here. Get long all the way from your tail to the crown of your head as you lift your heart to your thumbs. Shift your weight into your right foot and float your left foot back into a lunge. Stretch your arms long, fingertips floor to ceiling, and turn your gaze up towards your top hand, and then press down into your feet. Energize your legs as you come up to standing. Reach your front palm up and back to reverse your revolved lunge. And then float your left hand down to the earth as you lift your left leg to the sky for a revolved half moon. Right hand can stay on your right hip to help you keep twisting, or you can stretch right arm up to the sky. If you want to give yourself a little extra balance challenge, you can bend your left knee and reach your right hand for your left foot. When you're ready to release, inhale and lengthen your leg. Exhale, look down to the floor as you step forward into a forward fold. Drop your hips back into your chair pose, weight into your heels. Stretch your arms up overhead on your inhale, thumbs to heart center on your exhale. Inhale, lengthen, and on your exhale, right elbow to your left thigh. Back to chair pose on your inhale, twist on your exhale. One more time like that. Keep squeezing legs in towards each other as you draw belly button to your spine. Pause in your twist. Lift your heart to your thumbs. Shift your weight into your left foot as you float your right foot back behind you, finding your balance. Lengthen from your back heel through the crown of your head, and then reach fingertips floor to ceiling. Ground into your feet as you energize your legs, rise all the way up into your twist. Flip your front palm up towards the sky and reverse your warrior. Inhale. And on an exhale, float your right hand out in front of your left foot as you lift your right leg back behind you. Continue to twist over your right shoulder, your left shoulder. Maybe even stretching your left arm up towards the sky. You can play with that extra balance challenge here if you did that on the other side, reaching for your back foot. And when you're ready to release, extend your arm and your leg. Inhale. And on an exhale, look down and step forward into your forward fold. Flat back on your inhale, fold on your exhale. Step or float back to your plank pose and lower down. Cobra or upward facing dog on your inhale. Downward facing dog on your exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Soften your knees to the earth. Big toes together, knees wide. Drop your hips to your heels and stretch your arms out in front of you for child's pose. Moving in a dolphin pose from here, stack your elbows underneath your shoulders. Draw your belly button to your spine. Tuck your toes under and lift your hips, similar to downward facing dog, but now you're on your forearms. You can stay like this, or you can play with alternating legs back behind you, lift and lower. Maybe walking your toes in a little bit closer to your face to lift your hips right over your shoulders. Maybe as you lift and lower your legs, you catch a little bit of air underneath those bottom toes. When you're ready to release, soften your knees back to the earth, hips to your heels for child's pose. Work in your dolphin pose some more. Balancing on your forearms, perhaps for forearm balance. Or bring the crown of your head to the earth, clasping hands behind your head for Shirshasana A. Drawing your belly button to your spine. Stacking your hips over your shoulders. Maybe lifting one leg away from the earth and then lifting the other. When you're ready to release, soften your knees back to the earth, hips to your heels for child's pose. This video is always pausable. You can stop it wherever you need to grab a drink of water or to work more on one specific pose if you're finding that you want to go a little bit deeper, work a little bit longer, try something new. That's always available to you. If you ever have questions, please feel free to post them in the comments section of the video, and I'll be happy to answer them for you the best I can. When you're ready, place your hands underneath your shoulders. Move back to your tabletop, and then back to downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg back behind you. Exhale and draw your right knee to your nose. Stretch it back behind you again. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale, knee to your nose. One more round like that. Inhale, stretch back. Knee to your nose. Shift your shoulders a little bit further forward. Float your right foot in between your hands. Spin your back heel down to the earth and rise up into Warrior One. And then open up into Warrior Two. Hips open wide, tailbone heavy towards the earth. Straighten your right leg, reach your right hand forward, and float your right hand down to the earth as you stretch your left arm up to the sky. Continue to engage your core here, leaning your upper body back as you press your hips forward, rolling left hip open on top of your right. Squeeze muscle to bone in your legs so you're not resting in the joints. Press down into your feet. Lift up back into your Warrior Two and keep going into your reverse warrior. Sweep your right arm up and back on an inhale. And on your exhale, come into half moon. Right hand down to the earth. Left leg lifts back behind you. Maybe left hand reaches to the sky. Maybe you reach for your back foot. And just like you did in your revolved half moon, kick your foot into your hands. Take your head and chest back. Gather up the strength of your core, soften your knees, and step back into your warrior two legs. Plant your hands and stretch your right leg back behind you for three-legged dog. You can play with that balance challenge again here, reaching opposite hand for foot, or you can flip your dog coming into Urdhva Dhanurasana, back bend. Get a big front body stretch here. Energizing legs, pressing into your hands, reaching your heart forward. When you're ready to unwind, stretch your right leg back behind you and inhale. Meeting your nose on your exhale. Inhale and stretch your right leg up and back. Right knee to your left elbow and pause. Kick your right leg over to the left. Just like triangle here, you're energizing your legs as you reach your left arm up and press your right hand down. Opening your heart to the sky, rolling right hip underneath your left. When you're ready to release, plant your left hand, draw your right knee back into your nose, and stretch your right leg up one more inhale. Exhale, right knee to your right elbow. Cross your shin in front of your chest and lower down for pigeon pose. Roll your left hip forward as you roll your right hip back. Just like in Warrior One, try to square off your hips as much as you can. Walk your hands a little bit further back. Roll your shoulders back and lift your heart. Lift your chin. Front body stretch. Inhale and keeping that length. Exhale and begin to crawl your arms out in front of you, folding over your right shin. Stop wherever you need to. Using that innate wisdom that you've tapped into during this whole practice to decide how deeply you need to move into this forward fold. When you're ready to release, slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your back toes under, draw your right knee to your nose, and stretch it back behind you. Rock forward into your plank pose on an inhale and lower down on your exhale. Cobra, upward facing dog on your inhale, and then back to downward facing dog on an exhale. Same thing on the other side. Stretch your left leg back on your inhale. Knee to nose on your exhale. 3 times just like that. Rocking forward into your plank pose with every exhale. And on the third round, pausing. Take your shoulders a little bit further forward. Float your foot in between your hands. Rise up into Warrior One. Back heel spins to the earth. And then open your hips up into Warrior Two. Keeping muscle squeezing to bone without locking out your front knee. Straighten your left leg for triangle pose. Left arm reaches down as your right arm reaches up to the sky. And reach long all the way from your back heel out to the crown of your head. Make your spine long. Get some opening in your front body after all of that crunching and working in your core. When you're ready, ground down into your legs. Bend into your left knee and reverse your warrior. Sweep your left arm up to the sky. On an exhale, float your left hand to the earth. And peel your right hip open on top of your left for half moon. Stretch your right leg straight back behind you this time. Or you can bend your right knee and reach your right hand for your right foot. Drawing your shoulders back and down, getting a little more back bend. When you're ready to release, stretch arm and leg long. Soften into your knees and step back into Warrior Two legs. Look down and plant your hands. Lift your back heel away from the floor and stretch your left leg back behind you, bending your left knee and stacking your left hip on top of your head. Whatever variation you took on the other side, you can even it out here if that's appropriate on this side. Balancing once again or flipping over into your back bend. Or somewhere in between, you can flip your dog. Both hands don't have to come to the earth. Just working for that big front body stretch. Continue to energize legs in towards each other. Squeeze knees and thighs in towards each other as you reach your heart forward. When you're ready to unwind, stretch your left leg back behind you. Inhale. Knee to nose on your exhale. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, knee to right, elbow and pause. Kick your left leg out to the side and just like triangle pose, energize your legs in towards each other as you lift your top arm, stretching across your chest. Energize from back heel through the crown of your head. And when you're ready, flow both hands back to the earth. Inhale. Stretch your left leg back behind you one final time. Exhale, left knee to your left elbow. Cross your shin for half pigeon. Square off your hips as much as you can here without compromising your left knee. All 5 of your back toenails spin down to the earth. Walk your hands back. Roll your shoulders back and down. Lift your heart. Inhale, and on your exhale, keep that length as you crawl your way forward into your forward fold. Deciding how deep you need to go on this side. It doesn't need to be the same as what you did on the other side. Stay present. Stay mindful. When you're ready to release on this side, slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your back toes under. Engage your core as you stretch your left leg back behind you. Float left foot down to meet your right. Rock forward into your plank pose and chaturanga. Back bend on your inhale. Downward facing dog on your exhale. Lift your toes up on an inhale. Float knees to the earth on your exhale. And begin to just move around in your body. Maybe cat-cow. Maybe more circles around a few times in one direction. And then moving around in the opposite direction. Just feeling around in your body. Noticing all of the space that you made. Noticing what comes up as you allow that energy to fill your body. As you allow yourself to tap into that wisdom that you've uncovered. Stretch your right leg out to the side, planting your right foot, even if that means bending your knee. Plant your right hand and then stretch your left arm up to the sky. Inhale, and on an exhale, thread the needle all the way through, resting down onto your left shoulder into a twist. If this isn't comfortable for you, it doesn't feel good for your right knee, you can always plant your right knee and keep both knees planted, more like child's pose. This is just a different variation of that thread the needle twist that we've done before. You get a little more inner thigh stretch if you need it. Any arm variation that you like here. Arm can stretch alongside your ear up towards the ceiling. You can even wrap your right hand around your low back and reach for your left hip for a little extra arm balance. When you're ready to unwind, float your right hand back to the earth. Stretch your left arm up to the sky on an inhale. Hands back to the earth on your exhale. Fly your right knee back in to meet your left and take your hips to your heels for child's pose. Wrap your arms around the outsides of your legs and allow your shoulders and hands, wrists to soften. Just notice difference from right side to left. When you're ready for the other side, plant your hands underneath your shoulders. Stretch your left leg out to the side, planting your left foot. Plant your left hand. Stretch your right arm up to the sky. Inhale. Thread the needle through and twist on your exhale. Continuing to lengthen your low back and your spine. And stretching your right arm, your left arm long. Maybe alongside your ear. Maybe reaching for the ceiling or for your right hip. When you're ready to unwind, plant your left hand. Stretch your right arm back up to the sky. Inhale. Float your right hand back down to your mat on your exhale. Draw your left knee in to meet your right. Press back to downward facing dog one more time. Inhale, rise up onto your toes. Exhale and move forward to seated. Ground down into your sits bones. Bring your hands back behind your thighs. Inhale, roll your shoulders back and down. And as you exhale, slowly roll vertebrae by vertebrae all the way down onto your back. Grab a hold of the outer edges of your mat as you walk your heels in towards your seat. And like you're pulling your mat in half, reach hands to opposite ends of the room. You can keep holding onto your mat if that helps you to roll your shoulders down and back towards each other as you lift your hips away from the earth for bridge pose. Or you can release your mat, press your hands down into your mat, or you can clasp your hands behind your back. Continue to press down into your feet. Unwind your arms and slowly release down onto your back. Reach your arms up overhead, keeping your feet planted, and windshield wipering your knees side to side. When you're ready, walk your heels back in towards your seat. Drop your arms back down on your sides and lift your hips for bridge pose. If you want to move into a deeper back bend, rather than arms at your sides, plant your hands next to your ears. Draw your shoulders back and down, and then press just to the top of your head. Maybe you stay there. Maybe you press down into your hands and lift your head up away from the earth. Lengthening all the way from your heart forward. Press into your hands like you're standing on your hands. Press into your feet like you're standing at the top of your mat. And when you're ready to release, look up and slowly lower down onto your back. Stretch your arms up overhead and windshield wiper your knees side to side. You can choose to practice some more back bends here if your back bends are feeling really good or there's something specific that you really want to work on. Just pause this video and continue to work on your back bends. Whenever you're finished, we'll meet in Supta Baddha Konasana, the same place that you started your practice. Soles of your feet together, knees drop wide. One hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Take an inhale in through your nose, let it out through your mouth. Sink into all of the sensation, all of the moving and swaying energy in your body. Any thoughts that come up, any reactions to what your body's been doing for the last 45 minutes or so. Be present. When you're ready, draw hands to the outsides of your knees. Draw your knees together and hug your knees into your chest. Keep your right knee hugging into your chest. Roll out your right ankle and foot. And then take your right knee over into a twist. Switch your right arm out to the side and turn your gaze toward your right fingertip. You can stay here. If you want to take this into a quad stretch, bend your left knee, the leg that's extended down towards the bottom of your mat, and reach for your left foot with your right hand. It's just an option. If you try and it doesn't feel good, you can release, or maybe you just stay there for a couple of breaths and then move back into your regular twist. Inhale, and on an exhale, roll onto your back, hugging your right knee back into your chest. And then release it down to meet your left, and lay flat on your back. And just notice, for a few rounds of breath, the difference from right side to left. When you're ready, hug your left knee into your chest. Stretch your left knee over to the right side, moving into your twist when you're ready. Stretch your left arm out to the side and turn your gaze toward your left hand. If you took a quad stretch on the other side and you want to give it a try on this side, you can bend your right knee and reach your left hand for your right foot, stretching the front of your left hip and thigh. When you're ready to release, roll onto your back, hug your left knee into your chest, and then release it down to meet your right in Shavasana. Soften your face, soften your gaze, close your eyes, sink into the stillness that surrounds you, the stillness within. Breath of Life by Dana Falls. I breathe in all that is, awareness expanding to take everything in, as if my heart beats the world into being. From the unnamed vastness beneath the mind, I breathe my way to wholeness and healing. Inhalation, exhalation. Each breath a yes and a letting go, a journey and a coming home. welcome to stay here resting for as long as you need. When you're ready to awaken, begin the same way that you began your practice. Breath in, breath out. Wiggle fingers and toes, stretch arms up overhead, hug knees into chest. Eventually stretching your right arm up alongside your ear and rolling over to your right side. And just as patiently, just as mindfully as you've moved through the rest of your practice, press yourself all the way to your seat. Eyes closed, palms together at heart center. Honoring your time on your mat, your intention, and the teacher within. All of the light and the love within me bows to the light and the love within you. Namaste.